Okay, so I'm the developer of Pentacle, which is the game you can see here. I've had a few, very few, requests for instructions on how to play it, basically. So we'll start with the absolute basics. This is the home screen. You should see it when you start. Um, if you hit that question mark up there on the home screen, it'll give you a help screen, which you can read at your leisure. It's probably, before you start, you really probably should read that, but this um, walkthrough will go into most of that information anyway. We're going to turn off the sound just so you can hear me speak more clearly. Okay, let's get down to it. So we'll just get right back to the start. Okay, so in Pentacle, the idea is to, well, the win condition for each level is to own these gold circles. And you can do that in a variety of ways, but the simplest way to do it is to just drop a token onto it. So you can drag tokens like around like that, or you can click them and then click where you want to go. If you're on a touch device, that is probably the easier way to do it. Actually, we'll just restart that level. You can see also there's the question marks up here. Now you would think that would take you to the help screen, but not quite. So it gives you context-specific help. So in this case, it's just telling you to do that. Okay, let's move on. And again, okay, so it's saying to enclose me. These flashing circles mean that you can put a token on it. Notice that the gold one doesn't have a flashing center because it's not connected to the start square or start circle, which is there. So it should be reasonably straightforward to know how to finish this one. And there we go. So slightly different mechanic. So in the previous one, we had to drag the token to the gold circle. In this case, the token isn't connected to anything, but you can still own it by enclosing it. Now you're probably starting to see a pattern here. The only real difference here is that because this top circle isn't connected to anything, if I try and put something on there, it's not going to connect. But if I put something there and then I try and put something there, then it works. So you've got to have that connectivity. So one step, two step. And then if we complete the outline, it fills in the square, and we're good. Okay, and this just demonstrates that sometimes you don't need to fill it in. It's easy to get it in your head that you have to have every circle filled, or you have to have the entire thing painted in. That's not the name of the game. What you want to do is just have those gold circles owned, either by enclosing them or by dropping a token on them. So we can't do it yet because we haven't got that connectivity. But if we complete the graph, voila, so we're good. Okay, this introduces another new mechanic, which is that you can also own other tokens. So you can see these etchings here. Let's drop that back. So when he's not enclosed, you can't do anything with him. But if you enclose him, then you can drag him around. There we go. So that's a new mechanic. It's well worth remembering because just about every puzzle uses it. And here we are. So this is the first real puzzle in the game, in my opinion. And it's got a couple of parts. If you are planning on doing this one, then stop watching now. Would be my advice. If you are stumped, then we'll run through it. Okay, so there's a red herring in this one, which is, so the first thing I'd be inclined to do is to try and just make a beeline for the gold circle, and that's cool. Except I've run out of tokens. So what I'm going to try and do is drag this one here, which you'd think would end it, but it doesn't because I've removed the enclosing bit from this guy. So as soon as I do that, so I'll just move it somewhere else. He sweeps back. So you need to keep those enclosing rules in mind when you are starting to drag things. So the game becomes increasingly complex as you claim more and more tokens. So that's a red herring. You can't actually solve the game by going down there. I'll solve this level by going down there. But it's meant to demonstrate that loss rule where you lose the tokens. So what I will do is I'll go around the outside, which is actually how you solve this. So once you decide to do that, it should become reasonably obvious what you're meant to do. Now, there may or may not be a more efficient way to do this. Or, oh, there we are. But I certainly didn't get a very good score for that level then. Okay, this again demonstrates a new-ish mechanic. So you can see these lines don't actually have nodes at their intersections, they just go straight through. This is essentially demonstrating that even though they don't connect at a node, as long as they intersect, you can still get containment. So you can see that has filled in, and I now own this as well. So there we go, finish the level. Okay, this is probably my favorite level in the game. So again, if there's only 20 levels, if you want to play it through, I'd suggest you again stop watching now if you haven't already solved it. If you have, then well, I guess you know what I'm going to do next. Okay, so again, keep in mind that you don't have to. The lines only need to intersect to get containment. So there we go. Now I own that. And also keep in mind that you don't need to own everything. You just need to own the gold circles. So, hey, I've seen some very smart people get stuck on this one, which I guess is probably why it's my favorite. And you know, the solution is quite simple. Someone sent me a link saying that they were stuck on this one. Again, it is teaching a new mechanic, so you can see. Let's just get rid of that for a second. So keep an eye on this center circle here. When this fills in, you can see that's actually owned, and this starts flashing. So I'll just remove that again. So it stops flashing. So I assume, I mean, there's 3 tokens and there's 4 spots you can put them. So I assume that they're always just trying to do that and going, well, what do I do now? But even if I remove that, you can see that guy's still flashing. It's still saying, well, you can put something here. So that's the solution. It kind of builds upon some of the earlier puzzles where the gold circle was in the middle there. And it just demonstrates that ownership is also gained by containment, not just direct connections. Right. Okay, so this is another of the quote-unquote real puzzles. If you don't want to see the solution, then stop watching. Okay, so, and this uses that containment concept quite thoroughly. Now there's a simple way to solve this in a hard way. I just want to do it the simple way. Okay, and then there. So you can see this guy. It's an interesting situation here because he's contained, but it looks like it should break it if I'd remove this. But we've got these sort of interlinking dependencies, and these guys are contained, and these guys have tokens on them, so there's no reason when I remove that he shouldn't be okay. And he is, he's fine. And again, here. So, there we go. Again, yeah, that's one of the trickier puzzles, but once you've mastered it, then you've got the skills to keep going. This level is introducing a new mechanic. You could have used it earlier if you felt like it, but now you have to use it, and that's the jump move, as I like to call it. So I've even put, well, even it's one of the few levels I put some context sensitive help in, but it is quite obscure. So have a little faith in me. So the idea is that we can grab this guy and move him there, and in the same move, we're actually going to keep that containment because we're just moving him. We can keep moving around, and that guy still counts as being contained. And when I drop it, it's all contained. So let's just do that again. And close and close and close and close. Okay, so we can. It's just a jump basically. So as long as that's contained within my jump, so he'll still be contained when I go there. It's a valid move, and we can keep going. Can I demonstrate an invalid? I think I can. I think I can demonstrate an invalid move. So here's an example of how you might think it would work, but it doesn't actually. So if I just do that, this is not going to go well. So because that doesn't lead to containment because I've got an open circle here, and then that box isn't going to be filled in by this move, it's still, yeah, it bounces back. So anyway, let's move on. If you really need to understand this, otherwise future puzzles are going to be insoluble for you. I think is that valid? What is that? I'm sure I used the right word there. Unsolvable at any rate. Okay, this might look like the one we did just before, 2 levels ago, but it's actually a lot harder, and it uses that jump move again. So if you want to just have a go at this yourself, these things can take hours or days, of intermittent trying before your mind sort of gets around it, and so don't feel like you have to get it in a few minutes. It can be. It took me quite a while to make some of these levels, and sometimes I just had to draw a whole lot of circles randomly on a bit of paper and see what happens and see if I could solve it. So it's not intuitive, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, so that can go there. Now remember, we've got our jump move, and we've got an edge of a triangle, 2 corners of a triangle. We've got this guy who's going to be enclosed by that. So what we can do is jump, and everything's okay. And then we can just repeat that pattern here. Okay. And then we can enclose that. Okay, we still got 2 to go, but look, they are in good position to jump. And again, yeah. So it seems obvious to me now. I know everything, but I'm sure it's actually quite difficult for someone trying to pick it up. It's one of the problems with making a game like this is unfortunately, by the time it's finished, you know the rules so well that everything seems obvious. Anyway, apologies for this level. I don't like this level. This level is just fiddly, and it doesn't demonstrate anything. It's not really a challenge. It's just annoying. I really just wanted to see how much stuff I could get on the screen. But yeah. One thing, if you are playing on an iPhone or something like that with a small screen, definitely use the touch rather than the drag approach. And the game actually does have some smarts to try and guess what you're trying to click on. So if you're sort of mashing a finger around there, it will it will try and guess that you want that one within some limits. But if you use the touch and then touch again, then you can just pick another thing if you miss. So that will save you a whole lot of pain. And so you can see I'm doing the jump move left, right, and center here, but it's not particularly clever. It's just a big level. This is actually one of the better levels. So again, if you want to play this through, stop it now. It doesn't have any new puzzles in it. It just combines sort of things that we've learned. So we probably haven't seen the combination of, say, these intersection nodes and the jump move, which is required all through this. And obviously there's containment and dependencies and all sorts of horrible things, actually. So it's a good level. It's a good level. And now we're going to jump this out, and we're going to get 3 tokens, which is pretty sweet for one move. There it goes. Do it again. Get 3. And we win. So I'm not going to repeat that. That's just the way it is. Okay, so this doesn't, again, introduce anything new, but these circular levels just make your brain hurt, basically. So there's a couple of ways of solving this one. Should actually all be equivalent in terms of the number of moves if you do it optimally. So the number of moves exclusively determines the number of stars you get at the end. And it varies based on each level. But if you get 3 stars, you've done it well as I could do it. So and hopefully, I mean, I've gone to some effort to try and solve them all optimally. If you get more than 3 stars, it means you've beaten me, which I don't think, shouldn't be possible. But I can't guarantee that there aren't cases where I've missed something. So let me know if you do beat me. I can make it harder. And so you can see, or should I have talked that through? So you can see that's gone and filled in all these. And there's nothing new here except it's just circular. It's circular, so it freaks you out. Okay, there we go. Now this looks exactly like the previous level, but it's not. Now I'm just gonna run through it, but there's an easy way and there's a hard way to solve it, and I'm gonna do it the hard way. So let's just apply what we've learned before. Okay. Yes. So this is one just to annoy the completionists, basically. So you can see now it's trivial to finish, but we're not, and we've done it in what looks like an optimal number of moves, but we've only got 1 star. So obviously there's something else there, but that's an exercise to the viewer to solve that one. Okay, this one's arguably the hardest level in the game. I love it. I think it's, anyway, so basically stop watching if you don't want to have it ruined. Again, it looks a bit like the level from sort of the first hard level, the first challenge level, but it's nothing like it. Well, it's different. So yeah, okay. So there's a trick here. The temptation is to just go for this stuff straight away, but I can't even remember how to solve this, so I'm just gonna have a go. So, I think I've done the wrong thing here. Oh, I thought I had that right too. Oh well. I guess I'm going to be going for optimal. Okay, so I think you can do better than me at this for sure. All right, now we can jump that now because we're good. Yeah. All right, and I think we just make a beeline for the gold now. Okay, look at that. So 2 stars. Could do better. Definitely could do better. All right. Again, this is one that, well, it's quite complicated. If you, yeah, well, if you want to play it properly, just stop. You should have stopped watching like 2 or 3 ago, really, because I'm just giving away the answers now. Assuming I can remember how to do it. There's a trick to this one. I'm sure of it, and I'm pretty sure I haven't got it. Okay. Ah, yeah, right. So around the edge, and then I think we can just go like that, and everything will be enclosed. So, beautiful. The real challenge with these levels is to get 3 stars, which I think I'm actually going to do in this one. Yeah. So yeah, nothing new. Okay, so we actually introduced a new mechanic here. It's yeah, look, it's probably not one of the better ones, or it's just it's a bit simplistic. Anyway, these arrows. So see the arrows? They mean they can only connect in one direction. So you can see that this doesn't have a flashing circle on it, even though we have a line between them. That's because the arrow's pointing that way. So hopefully that's reasonably intuitive. If it's not, then you're going to struggle. Okay. Something. What have I done? Okay, so it does make things a bit interesting, but we can just do that, and then we close everything. And there we go. Okay, and this is actually the penultimate level, which I am not going to solve, but it's safe to say it uses everything that you've learned before. So that's Pentacle. Pentacle almost walked through to the end. Good luck.